Thank you. Been anywhere? Anywhere here. Okay. Yeah, sorry. The restroom, if I recall, is around the corner. Yeah.
It's nice and cool in here.
I was gonna say, yeah, it is. And I'm guessing with this heat, we're not gonna see a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you have air conditioning in your home or work?
Yes, and yes-ish, not central,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
but fine.
Yeah, we just got we have a 1914 bungalow down 39th Street. So we just got a central system put in a year ago. Just much more.
I'm sure, much more.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, I feel very grateful for on days like this.
Well, actually, I didn't turn mine on at home yet, but I definitely turned one on at work.
Yeah.
Just cause, I mean, I won't be home till.
That's right.
this meeting
Yeah,
is
so
over.
hopefully it's cooled off. Yeah, I've noticed our house on hot days, it'll stay cool till the afternoon, and then it's like really in the afternoon it starts.
Does it happen to face west?
Well, the front of the house faces east, so the back of the
Oh.
house like
Right.
gets the heat in at the end of the day. So sometimes, yeah, it definitely makes it easier to sleep with air conditioning.
Right. Maybe not healthy, but something. Okay, so we'll probably start at 5 after.
Okay, I
Just
think
see if-
Jessica's gonna join on Zoom again. Do our presentation.
Well, like I said, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I know Teresa's not coming. Here's Jessica, so it might, hopefully it's not just us. But we'll go through. Yeah, but we'll go through it anyway because it's on YouTube,
It's
so you
recording.
never know.
Right.
Well, we're recording Zoom, but it's also.
Oh,
on
being
YouTube.
podcast, sure.
Yes,
sure,
and be recorded YouTube, so, yeah. But that doesn't mean we have to go long.
Sure.
Meeting. Like, well, Steve's here, so we have a real meeting. And those are not air conditioners, I think they're humidifiers. Hi, Steve. If it gets too noisy.
Okay.
Steve, you look like you were in the sun, actually. No,
Just his lighting.
just the lighting?
It's a skin condition called rosacea. And when it gets hot, I get very red.
Oh,
Oh,
well, can I just say, no, it doesn't look like that. It looks like you've got a healthy tan.
Oh, yeah, no. It's the one thing I share with Bill Clinton. We both have it.
Yeah. Well, sorry I brought it up.
It's okay. Next time it comes up on the pit, you'll know what it is.
So, I think we'll just start in a couple of minutes. I mean, I know it is 7 o'clock and our applicant is here, but just to give community members a little more
Sure.
time.
Have you heard anything from Hakeem?
Not about anything that we've discussed here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do know that the 3911 West Adams, which is north side of it, Mary Clay. Yeah, it's a house associated with the first African-American owned kindergarten here in LA. Heather nominated it as a historic cultural monument. It's been to Plum, and what he told me is he had hoped it would be on the city council agenda this week. I don't see it yet.
Okay. What I'm interested in is the extension on the ZA.
I know. It's on I have lists of things I need to do, and I just wish I was feeling better.
Should I send him an email?
Yeah, just say, I mean, I would do nicely, just, did you hear back from the ZA regarding an extension of time? That's
Yeah.
what I would suggest.
Do you have a cold?
I sure wish I had a cold. I had, I guess, food poisoning combined with some version of this nasty flu. I seem to have had both at the same time. Yeah, and then that's
Play the
kind of,
lottery.
I did. But I have this, just still remaining sore throat. And, so like and it's so hot out. It's like, oh, all I really want to do is go back to bed.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to get you started.
Yeah, it's not good when it's 95 degrees in March.
Exactly. Like Jean is asking me, Jean Frost saying, did you call so-and-so? Did you call so-and-so? It's like, no, not yet.
No.
I mean, our lives here are every day a new catastrophe, it seems.
Yeah.
And one thing I was working on, which is chit-chatting, is I'm trying to compile a list as best I can around the city of houses that were burned down by developers.
Oh, that would be a good list.
That's a good list. It's a good bad list. And I don't know, I can't remember when we were here the last time, have the house on St. Andrews and Fifth Street burned yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so a abandoned vacant house, I want to say 509 South St. Andrews, or maybe North St. Andrews. Anyway, burned down, but as we've been predicting for years, it caught the house next door and burned it to the ground as well. And those people lost everything. Some minister, he was at church preaching. Luckily, his entire family was with him. But they lost,
A lot of the
everything.
homes are very close together.
Well, yes. Okay. All right, well, it's 7:04. I think we may as well start. And so even though I was gonna say we've been chit-chatting, mostly I chit-chatting, but my name is Laura Myers. I am the chair of UNNC's Planning and Zoning Committee. Welcome to our twice a month meeting. And the meeting is called to order at 7:05. And I'd like to go through, before I share the screen of the agenda, just some introductions. So again, my name is Laura Myers. And talk that we can hopefully.
Yeah, I'm Jeanette Rodriguez-Pack, and I'm the CEO of STEM Prep Schools.
I'm Eric Barlow. I'm the president and chief operating officer for STEM Prep.
Okay, Steve.
Steve Peckman, resident Jefferson Park.
Okay. Odyssey, if you could introduce yourself.
Sunmin Lee, actually, I can't figure out how to change this gnomon thing on the Zoom. But anyway, I'm a resident of Jefferson Park.
Okay, I'm sorry, because it's a little noisy here and we're gonna make it less so.
Sunmin.
Oh, hi,
Hi.
Hi, okay, so I'm just gonna change it to Sun. Because I have that ability. Oops, maybe it'd be good if I at least
Thank
have
you.
this. Okay.
Jefferson
And
Park.
Right, and thank you, because I received your email today. Thank you very much. Jess? If you're,
Hi there, my name is Jessica Miramontes. I'm the Director of Compliance at STEM Prep Schools.
thank you, and Colleen. Colleen? Okay, so she may have stepped away with Colleen Davis. So I'm going to share the. Am I going to share the screen? Right, but more importantly, I'm not seeing it in share. We were updated today.
There it is, it's at the top of that menu, just.
Share.
Yeah, Zoom's always moving things around every time.
Yes, well, I mean, it updated literally, 10 of 7. So, okay, so we have on tonight's agenda. The welcome, call to order, review of UNNC's standing rules for committee stakeholder voting participation. Introductions, which we just did, although we have 2 more people in the room, and voting affirmations and reviewing the agenda. So for those who are new, or if not new, just a refresher, UNNC has an unusual committee structure in that we appoint our chairs and co-chairs, but we do not appoint committee members with permanent assignments, and rather we ask the stakeholders participate. What is a stakeholder? Someone who lives, works, attends school, is a parent of a child who attends school, worships in church, owns a business, owns a property, and or participates in a community-based nonprofit 501c3 organization, which has a brick and mortar address within the UNNC boundaries. And this is a definition from City Council. So if anyone who meets any of those criteria, and I believe everyone who's on this meeting does, may vote if we are going to vote on something, we probably are. So beyond that, on tonight's agenda, we have, as always, general public comments, 1 to 2 minutes per speaker. And we like to kind of max that out at 10 minutes. Don't usually have a problem. Our primary thing is case number CPC 2009-3965 CU PA4, and it's really a 2026 case. And it's a compliance review and update, and we'll discuss it. I put on the agenda, I should tell everybody that we have to prepare our agendas earlier now than we had been for these 20 some years. But the new state law SB 707, which continues to permit neighborhood councils to meet hybrid or meet in person or on Zoom, or in our case on both, has established some very strict deadlines for the city to post our agendas. And since the city doesn't work on weekends, we've had to move all of our timing up to earlier to the prior week. So at the time, I thought I was going to see a very interesting update on the open space element preliminary draft, and it was a little less than stellarly interesting, but I'll still have some things to share. And there's some other updates kind of on objective design standards, SB 79, and a new project at 1422 South St. Andrews that, we're not reviewing the project. I just have a piece of news about that. So that all said, I'm going to stop the share and see, if Michael and Donna first want to just introduce yourselves, and then we'll go to general public comment. Everybody else has already gone through this. So Michael, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Michael Kimbrough. I am a UNNC member, and I live in and represent the avenues. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And Donna?
Donna Jones, West Adams Avenues. I am a stakeholder.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so are there
I'll just jump in now. My chat or mute unmute button is working. It's Colleen and I live in Jefferson Park. I'm a stakeholder.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay. Are there any general public comments on any items not on this agenda? And then I have a few. Okay, so there's quite a few events coming up that people are likely to be interested in, and I'm going to try and get UNNC e-blast out about most of these. but on March 28th, there will be CD10 is sponsoring an event for essentially hazardous waste recycling on Crenshaw Boulevard. So they're looking for volunteers. That will be an e-blast, but obviously they're also looking for everybody to clear out their what did we used to call it? A closetware. All those old TVs and computers and things like that are sitting in your closet. This is the event for you, along with batteries.
28th.
I think if 28th is a Saturday, tell me.
That's right. Yeah.
If 28th is a Saturday, then that is the day.
Okay.
The following Saturday, here at, not inside the South Seas House, but at the park, is the annual spring extravaganza for kids. Not Easter exactly, but an event for kids in the park. UNNC will be handing out little coloring books and things like that. The following Saturday, April 11, is a tree planting in Western Heights, another event. The following Saturday is back here at Benny Potter Park, Coffee with a Cop. Donna, do you know the time on that? Off the top of your head?
Yes, 10:30 until 2 o'clock. It is Earth Day. We will
It's
have a small
official?
resource fair.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, Earth Day coffee. All right, coffee with
Yes.
a cup.
And snacks at lunchtime too.
Okay, and May 9th, Fire Service Day. There'll be two in the general area. One is at our Fire Station 26, which services a big radius, probably your entire, all three of your schools. But that's on basically it's on Western, but they're gonna probably close Manhattan Place between 20th and 21st, so the backside of the firehouse. And then Fire Station 94, which is at Coliseum, I think where Coliseum and Obama kind of meet. And that's the official Fire Service Day for the South Los Angeles Bureau of the Fire Department. So there's two on the same day. And I'm not going to keep going, but as you can see, there's an awful lot of events
That's great.
happening.
Can
And there
I-
are more.
Can I share one?
Sure.
I can follow up later with more details, but we're planning for, I have to get back to the date, but one weekend in May for like health and community resource fair at the high school. To do that. The one on Adams, yes.
So this is Laura speaking again. I forgot
Oh,
to
sorry.
mention
Yes.
that
This-
all of us in this room are identified on our little transcript as UNNC president. So Eric just informed us that sometime in May, there will be a health and resources fair.
Well, yeah, that's where we'd like to plan, so yeah, we'd love to get some coordination with the council as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, and there's stuff in June too. I'll just quickly say the Debbie Allen Dance Academy Annual Block Club shutting down Washington Boulevard is the first Sunday in June between Western and Gramercy. And the last Saturday of June is LA 84 Play Day. And the first Saturday in June, back to the beginning of June, UNNC is presenting a one-day workshop on emergency preparedness. So, we'd like everybody to attend. We'd like help from people, because it's a lot. UNNC is going to be having a lot of tables in a lot of places. Okay, any other general public comments? And not hearing any, we will move on to our item number 3, which is essentially an update, but it's a real deal. It's a report that updates the conditions that were imposed on STEM prep back in 2015-ish.
2015 when we moved in, yeah.
Right. And then they are going to do a little expansion. So we're going to have a presentation about this and then talk about what we need to vote on. So did you want to?
Yeah, well, so my question for you, Laura, is we presented kind of on the, the background and our proposal at the last meeting.
You submitted and
And then, right, we submitted and there were some questions at the last meeting, so we kind of prepared some responses
Ah.
to those questions. So I just start with kind of the
Well, I
the
think you
questions, or
should
if I
just-
start from the beginning?
I think you should assume there are people here who have no idea who
Right.
you are.
Okay.
And then Jess, you're gonna have a presentation. Do you need to share the screen?
Yes, please.
And do you need to do that while Eric is talking or after? I'm gonna make you co-host. But either way.
Great.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So Jess, why don't we start with the presentation that from December? We'll just do that one. I'll quickly
Okay.
start.
So let me know if you still can present, because I declined your request, but I made you a co-host. Maybe I
I
did-
think I'm able to present. I think-
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Here you go. Just let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yep. Great. Okay, well, okay, so this is Eric Barlow. Again, I'm the president and COO of STEM Prep. Thank you, Laura. So with me here is Jeanette, our CEO. So for anyone who doesn't know us, STEM Prep operates 3 schools in the community, 2 within CD10, and then 1 within CD10 and UNNC, and then 1 that's in CD8 and in a different neighborhood council. And between our 3 schools, we have about 1,300 students from grades TK all the way through 12. And our mission is to close the gap for students, particularly students of color, students from this community, to be prepared to enter into STEM fields when they graduate. Go to the next slide. So specifically, as Laura mentioned, this case is about Math and Science College Prep, which is our high school. It's located on Adams, 3200 West Adams, next to the Mid-City Prescott School. So just a little background on the school. Since our beginning in 2013, we've graduated over 1,000 students with over a 98% graduation rate, and 99% of those graduates have been accepted into 4-year universities, and 2/3 of those graduates with STEM majors. So we're really excited about the work that we've been doing for students in this community and even in broader across LA. So the specific scope of work that is included in this plan approval involves the portion of the property that's you can go back. Sorry, can you go back to Jess? There you go. That's labeled there as annex. So there's in the existing plan approval, there are a number of conditions that lay out, sort of guide how STEM Prep uses the property. And one of those conditions involves the number of students and the number of classrooms that are permitted on the site. And as I mentioned before, we do operate 2 other schools in the community. One of those schools is currently co-located on the 24th Street Elementary campus. And we're looking at options for relocating that school to another place in the community. That basically no longer makes sense for that school to be co-located there. So one option we're looking at is moving some of those students, probably most likely the 8th grade class, onto the campus with the high school. So in order to do that, we need a few more classrooms. And so right now that annex space is being used as offices. And what we're asking for in this plan approval is to convert that space into 4 classrooms. So this layout shows the kind of what it will look like once the 4 classrooms. So you can see 2 downstairs, plus some restrooms and an office, then 2 more classrooms upstairs, plus 2, I think it's actually maybe 3 restrooms, and another office space. So really it's all interior work with the exception of the stairwell that you see there at the bottom. Jess, you can go to the next screen. So that's the only kind of part that will be visible from the outside. In order to get that occupancy for the second floor, we need a second exit. So adding that stairwell. But that stairwell is going to be in the kind of courtyard and not visible from the street. And so that's what I've circled in this picture. And then there's some new windows that are kind of changing the layout of the second floor. So I think that's the kind of quick overview of kind of what we're asking for in the current submission. So we presented this same presentation back in December, and the committee members here had a few questions, so wanted to kind of address those. So Jess, if you don't mind going to the other presentation, we can address a few of those questions. Any questions about what I presented so far while Jess is switching?
Is the annex a historic building?
So my understanding is it's not, right, it's not on any historic register, but it's part of the it's in the HPOZ, right?
Well,
But
it's a contributing,
it could-
the answer is yes, Steve. It's a contributing structure to the Jefferson Park HPOZ.
Thank you.
Right. So you can go to the next slide, Jess. So there are a few questions about the school demographics. So just wanted to give you a little more information about that. So here's kind of how a few ways that our student body breaks down. The blue lines, and you have to forgive me if I misname a color because I'm a little colorblind, but the blue line is for MSCP. So, over 99% of our students are students of color. Over 90% of them qualify as either at least one of low income English learner and or foster youth. And about 12% of our students are students with disabilities. And we've just put in the red line is West Adams Prep High School, which is kind of the nearest LAUSD school to us, high school. And so you can see it's pretty comparable in terms of how the student bodies, at least in these metrics, right, about the same percentage of those categories. You can go to the next slide, Jess, and just to give you a little more detail on how the student body breaks down in terms of race and ethnicity. Both at MSCP and at West Adams, around 90% of the students are Hispanic or Latino, and between 5 and 10% are Black or African American, and then a small, the remainder, 5 or less percent makes up all the other categories. There were also some questions about where do our students live? So this map, each point on the map is a student address. The colors I think indicate grade level, so you can ignore those. But the way it basically breaks down is that nearly half of our students live within 1 mile of MSCP, with 75% of them living within 2 miles. So it does spread out, but the majority of students are in the areas concentrated around the school. So let me pause there and see if there are any questions kind of about the demographics or kind of where students live. Because I know this came up at the last meeting.
Right. Well, like I said, it might not be.
It might not be the same people, which is fine.
Right.
That's
So.
This
I'm
is-
not seeing any hand.
Oh,
Go
thanks,
ahead,
Colleen.
Colleen.
I'm sorry, I forgot about the hand raising. This
No
is
problem.
Colleen. Could you just remind us how recruitment works at your
Yes,
school?
absolutely. Yes, yeah, and that's a perfect segue to my next slide. So being a public charter school, we are not allowed to discriminate in any way in our admissions. So we have an open application process. Basically anyone who lives anywhere in California can apply. And it's a lottery system. So we have a deadline, and if we don't, basically we'll hold a lottery if the number of applications that we receive by the deadline exceeds the number of open spaces that we have. So either we'll accept all those students who apply by the deadline, and then anybody who applies after the deadline are just waitlisted in order, or we'll have a lottery and then the remainder will be waitlisted. But the way that we can try to influence kind of our student body is through a recruitment. And so, you know, part of our mission, like I mentioned, is to serve students in this community and to serve particularly students of color, right? Because we look at kind of the state of, you know, most STEM professionals, most professionals in the engineering and sciences fields, the majority are white men still. So what we want to do is provide those opportunities for students of color and for girls in particular to be prepared for those fields. So so we really do concentrate our outreach efforts in the area around, you know, within UNNC, the area around the school, and try to be strategic in the way that we're reaching out to different communities within this neighborhood. So I've listed on the slide here a few different strategies that we've been using to try to increase enrollment from within UNNC and CD10. So that includes attending high school fairs that are hosted by local middle schools, doing canvassing at homes and businesses within UNNC and CD10. You may have seen some of the light pole banners that we put up on Adams, Crenshaw, Jefferson, Arlington. And attending community events and recruiting students like at Taste of Soul, the annual City of STEM event. Now that last year was at Expo Park and it's going to be back at Expo Park again this year. Other events at local parks and libraries. So we've built relationships with the librarians and the rec center leads. So, you know, trying to get our name out there that way. And then we're also working on kind of cultivating the matriculation of students within our own organization, from our elementary school to the middle school to the high school as well. So yeah, really open to, like I said, really committed to this area and open to feedback. And, you know, I'm sure there are lots of other opportunities that we aren't yet taking advantage of for recruitment. And so definitely open to those. And I see Michael has his hand raised.
Yes, Michael? Michael, do you have a question?
No, I had to unmute. I'm sorry. Hi, Eric. It's Michael Kimbrough. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
You may or may not remember I was the original project manager of the rear building when it was the Faith Apostolic Church.
Oh, okay, great.
And so I also remembered that you had done a conversion of the sanctuary facility into a gymnasium or something of that nature.
Correct. That was in 2016,
Right.
17. Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm asking, two things actually. I know that the ingress from Adams to the rear building, that driveway is somewhere around 12 feet wide, more or less. And my first question is the proposed exit stairwell, going to impact the width of that driveway? And secondly, can you chat briefly about the number of students currently on campus and the number of students that the new classrooms will add?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good questions. I did kind of gloss over that a little bit. So to your first question about the stairwell, no, it will not impact the driveway. This new stairwell is on the courtyard side of the annex building. The driveway runs along the driveway is on the west side of the building.
Yes.
And then the stairwell will be on the east side. And then there's an exit driveway that's further on the east side, on the other side of the courtyard. So neither driveway is impacted by the stairwell. And then to your second question about numbers, so the number of students that we currently have enrolled is what's permitted under the conditions, which is 550. And we're asking for an additional, it's like 125-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe that's
On the application, it says 125.
125. Okay, thank you. Sorry, been a
So
while.
that would be over.
I wrote that on the agenda.
Thank you.
That would be over three classrooms. So you're looking at approximately 35 students, more or less, per classroom.
It's 4 classrooms. Operationally, on the day-to-day, it would probably be, we wouldn't have more than 25 students in the classroom. So we were really talking about 5 rooms. And the way that we would accomplish that is we have the 4 new classrooms And then we would have one teacher that would float between all the existing 28 odd classrooms. So with, not every classroom is in use all the time. Every teacher gets a prep period and break. So we would have one teacher that would be floating in between. So it would be split across 5 different
Right,
teachers.
so this is a high school, right?
Right.
So kids move from place to place.
Yes.
And,
So
and,
these new classrooms sound like they're going to be 8th grade classrooms, yes?
Yes.
but it's still, even in 8th grade, Michael, I believe kids move from room to room.
Yes.
And that would be from building to building, yes?
Right.
That would be moving to the rear
Yes.
building, yes.
Yes.
So has a path of travel been created? Because currently, that's all parking back there.
Yeah. Jessica, in the other presentation, is there or can you pull up the site plan if it's either in the other presentation or it's in this what we submitted? So we'll give Jessica a minute to find that. But the answer to your question is yes, there is actually an accessible path of travel through the middle of the parking lot that connects the 2 buildings. It's striped and properly graded and everything.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna follow up on what Michael's asking. During the day,
Mhm.
while kids are migrating from place to place, is there very many cars moving from place to place?
Not moving, because students are not permitted to drive to school. And so that it's just staff parking and visitor parking. So, mostly it's teachers that have come in, parked, and then the cars stay there
All day long.
all day long. Occasionally we'll get visitors and we get some staff that are coming in and out, but if you could show that the next page, I think it's page 3 of that document. Yeah, that one. So you can see the accessible path of travel there in the middle.
Yeah, but that path of travel does not show access to the rear building that I can tell from here.
Well, it
looks
does
like
kinda, it
it's
kinda
a-
does.
It's a path of travel to the eastern property line. I understand
No.
that. What am I missing?
No, this is a north-south. They're showing us sideways.
No,
The right-
they're showing Adams to the right and the rear
Yes.
building at the back side of campus, which is the south side. And if
Correct.
I'm understanding, then those students in the new annex, if they're changing classes, will be required to visit the rear building. Yes?
Correct.
There's no
Yes.
there's no established path of travel that I can see. that
Well, I think I
access-
see I think I see little stripes in between the parking spaces, right in the center. Is that what you're
Correct.
talking about?
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's not clear.
Looks like a
Thank you.
barber's pole
Okay,
line.
thank you.
side.
No, I understand. I see it. Okay, thank you.
How
Now-
wide is that pathway?
Yeah,
Um,
doesn't look very wide.
It's going to be required to be 60 inches at minimum.
yeah, it's to code. I don't, I have to go measure it.
Okay, well, just out of curiosity, do the kids really just walk on the driveways?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
These are,
Oh, yeah.
no driveways.
They'll
These
use
are-
driveways.
Sir, high schoolers.
Yeah.
They're going to migrate through the parking lot at their own.
Yes,
you
they're
know,
definitely.
We know that. But
We
in order
know
to get
that.
through in order to get through building in safety, you're going to have to show an established path of travel.
Right.
And lastly, Eric, without prying, you mentioned briefly that there were issues that are requiring this to happen, but you didn't elaborate on it. Is it relevant that you're shutting down the other campus and why this is taking place?
Yeah, so so at the middle school, like I mentioned, is co-located with 24th Street Elementary. Really, honestly, it's that the district had changed some of its policies around co-locations and has primarily increased the cost over the last 3 years. The
Okay.
cost that they've charged us has gone up 20% a year.
No, understood. It's an economic
So
decision.
it's mostly financial. It just
Okay.
doesn't make financial sense for the school to be there anymore.
Understood. Thank you. Oh, by the way, let me just also comment, I really like what you guys have done with the site.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'd love, if you want to come by sometime, we'd love to have you.
Thank you. You offered the last time and I didn't take you up on it, but I may actually do that this time. Thank
Yeah,
you.
ask Colleen. Colleen came. We were nice to her.
Thank you.
True, true. We had a very nice tour. Thank you again.
Great.
So
All right.
back to
Back
the
to our presentation. So I think that I'll turn it over to Jeanette because there were some questions last time too about kind of our academic performance. So Jeanette.
Yeah, so as Eric mentioned, West Adams is the closest high school to Math and Science College Prep. So we did a comparison, or provide you all with a comparison of how we're performing as compared to West Adams. And so as you can see, these are our English language arts results from the state dashboard. And as you can see, since 2021, post-pandemic, even prior to pandemic, we have been outperforming West Adams pretty significantly. In addition to that, the other graphs that are a little bit more colorful with the arrows show how we're performing relative to the state. So relative to the state, we are considered on par, whereas West Adams is considered below state averages in terms of how many kids are meeting and exceeding standards. And so that's for the English. Jess, do you want to go to the next slide? And so here we are for math. We definitely recognize that the math achievement is something for us to continue to work on. But again, since 2021 and prior to 2021, we still remain above the standards of West Adams. And again, we're still on par with the state, as you can see by our yellow designation, whereas West Adams is in orange. And then I think that there was also some questions around science. And just as we had seen before for math and ELA, or English language arts, sorry, we are continuing to perform above and also excelling, showing a lot of growth over the last several years since coming back from pandemic in science. So our students are performing above the students at West Adams, and also in this case above the state, as indicated by our blue designation. And then in the previous slide that Eric brought up, he also mentioned the successes that we've had, and this is really just like a true indication of how well we are doing. But he mentioned that our college acceptance rates and our graduation rates were pretty high. So we are graduating, last year, we graduated 99% of all of our seniors on time, whereas West Adams was at 84% and the state is about 87.5%. And then finally, the last slide, Jess. Here is how the state deems us in terms of how well we are preparing our students for college and career readiness. And again, we're doing very well compared to the state, is indicated by the highest ranking or level that you can get, which is color blue. So we just wanted to be able to share with you some of the academic achievement and successes, and also kind of give you a clearer picture of how we are comparing to the schools that the kids in this neighborhood might have gone to otherwise. If there's any questions on that, I'm happy to answer those.
I think we're good.
Great.
Anything else?
That's all we have prepared.
Okay.
So I think the kind of question is to, to Laura and to the rest of the committee, what other, I think we would love to get the neighborhood council support for our application. So I think, just the question is like, what other information do you need, or questions do you have?
I don't know what other questions we have about this. What's the timeline?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, in conversation with staff, what's the process?
Yeah.
And what's the timeline? Is there a public hearing?
I think we don't know if there's gonna be a public hearing. I think that's gonna be at the discretion of the planner, I believe.
Well, it's a zoning administration case.
Is it? Okay.
So that doesn't mean you're not right.
So yeah, I do not know. I do not know about whether there'll be a hearing. So we submitted in
well, the very end of December.
Yeah, it was December. It was on New Year's Eve that I went downtown and submitted. But surprisingly, I was not the only person there. Even though it was raining. But so I think, and I did have Jane reach out to the contact that you mentioned in the about the historic preservation as well.
Well, it looks like they issued an approval
They
of the
did.
staircase. I think it was just treated as a ministerial
Correct,
approval.
correct.
So
That's what I
the answer
understood as
to
well.
a question that you might be asking, Steve, but that I had asked the
Right,
last time, because I actually I saw it today online and I have it in the agenda packet. I don't know if it's necessarily.
right.
something
So that was
important.
the latest update that I've
Right.
received. I think based on kind of our conversations with staff, we expect it to be, you know, we did not file it expedited. It's just or did we? Oh, now I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Well, in any regard, we're expecting more of like a 10 to 12 month, you know, process to approval. And so we wouldn't plan to, we're not assuming we would be able to add any additional students to the campus until fall of 2027.
Got
That
it.
would be the.
Okay, Colleen has her hand
Oh,
up.
I think.
No, Colette has her hand up.
Hello, thank you. Yes, it's Colette. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes.
Oh, great. It's Colette and I'm a new Jefferson Park stakeholder. I just wanted to inquire because maybe I missed it at the beginning of your presentation, but is this a fee-based school, tuition fee?
Great question. No, it's a public charter school, so no, it's free for all students.
Oh, okay, that's wonderful. And also, you mentioned that you were trying to do outreach so that students from the neighborhood would be applying, and you were, researching all of these different methods. Are you also considering priority given to students from the neighborhood?
Yeah, that's a good question. So as a charter school, we in California, charter schools have to be authorized by either the school district in which they're located, or if the school district refuses, then by the county office of education, and in some rare cases by the state. So we are authorized by the LA Unified School District, and LA Unified policy is to not permit any location-based preferences in admission, except for students who are residents of the district. So we do preference because the district kind of forces us to students who reside within the district. But as you know, district is very large. So the vast majority of our students come from within the district anyway, but they won't allow us to preference students with any other geographical preference.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We, UNNC, have dealt with a number of different charter schools. And so there's I guess you should say, successful charter school on Venice Boulevard, just west of 6th Avenue. It's called Click. And it's a language immersion charter school. And when they were presenting, so this is years ago, the big concern was that it's really a lot of traffic in that area and there's
Right.
multiple schools. So the community was really saying, can't you please prioritize kids who could walk to school?
Right.
And the answer was, no, they could not. They tried. I mean, they actually went back to LAUSD and took the request,
Right.
and no, they could not.
That's the response that we received too. I don't know a school in which that's been allowed.
Steve,
Thank you. My question is, have any of the neighbors voiced any concerns about this addition to the school? And any of the West Adams Avenues folks who are in attendance, or Laura, have you heard from any neighbors who have voiced any concerns about this?
well, I'm not sure that it's well known that they're adding more in this request. So I know that was a big concern back in 2015, because the size was going from like 300 to 550.
No, in 2015, it was actually prior to 2015, the approval was for 700. There was, when I set this up in there,
Yes,
it
but
was 700.
practical reality was something like 330.
Oh,
You had an approval for a high number,
okay.
but you didn't have the number.
I can't actually speak to how many students.
Because
are actually there. there.
Because it had been a school for some time, just hadn't
Correct.
been your school.
Correct. There were other schools operating there.
Right.
So, I mean,
So there were, anyway, yes,
yeah.
there were concerns expressed at that time.
Maybe Michael or Donna or someone.
Yeah, Donna has her hand up now.
Yes, we definitely were concerned at that time. We're also concerned at this time by raising the amount of students just overall at the site. There's a school right next door. There's a lot of traffic, period, in the area along Adams at Arlington. And my concern also is the amount of staff per student oversight
Sure.
on all school campuses. Many things are happening, and it really worries me. I'm not sure how many paraprofessionals you have and how many teachers per grouping of
Sure.
students. As a
Yeah.
teacher, I know that's super important, and the first place to cut is cut down on staff, overall staff. Eyes
Yeah.
on all the prizes walking around.
right. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Donna. I think I can try to address both of those in a couple different ways. And Jeanette, feel free to jump in. So I think in regards to supervision, I think that's obviously an important issue for us as well. I think so. We're always making, it is one of our priorities to make sure that we have sufficient staff to supervise our students. Our average class size at that school is only 20 students or thereabouts. And in addition to there's at least one teacher in each of those classes, right? So 20 to 1. Plus we have about 10 instructional aides that push into different classrooms to support teachers as well as assist with supervision. And then we have 4 full-time campus aides who aren't doing instructional support, but are just doing kind of like monitoring, supervision of students outside of the classroom. In addition to that, we also have 4 full-time counselors who work with students, also support with student supervision. We have a principal and 2 assistant principals, as well as I think 4 office staff and a full-time what's his title? Restorative Justice Coordinator, who is working with students when an issue does arise in sort of implementing restorative practices. So it's not punitive, but like how do we restore, and bring those students back into the community. So definitely a concern, I think, for us as well. And we those campus aides, supervision staff are always stationed out at Adams Boulevard during the drop-off and pickup times to, assist with any, traffic issues and monitor students and families' compliance with the traffic rules. So yes, definitely important, and we want to make sure we continue. And there will be additional instructional staff added to the site as a result of the additional classrooms. So I mentioned the 5 teachers, maybe 1 or 2 additional instructional aides. But the net impact of adults and cars parked in the parking lot will actually go down, because right now there's about 25 folks, Jeanette and myself included, who have offices in that space. So we're there every day, but we're not supervising students. We're just, doing boring businessy things. But once we convert to classrooms, we'll have to basically become work from home or find some other space. So there'll actually be fewer, cars parked on campus. Overall, fewer staff there at any one time, but more staff that are working directly with students. And then I think to kind of address the concerns about, the impact of increased traffic with increased students, I think that is something we want to pay attention to. So I think the first thing I'll note is that, if we zoom out a little bit, it doesn't represent any increase in number of students in the neighborhood, because these would be students who would otherwise be attending over at the 24th Street campus. We're just shifting them over. However, to your point, there is another school next door, so it is a little more concentrated in terms of in that specific area and intersection. We did kind of an analysis of, of how students get to school right now. And less than half of the students are coming by car currently. And a good number of students, if I remember correctly, it's about a third, have a sibling that's already attending the school. So, we're not talking about 125 new car trips a day. We estimate it to be a lot less than that, maybe even a third of that number. So hopefully that can help mitigate some of that impact. I think Michael.
Well, Michael has his hand up, and I do have a question.
Sure, I can speak on that. My daughter recently attended Mid-City next door, and so I was able to observe the traffic patterns in the morning. The thing that, Steve, to address your concern, Steve, the ingress and egress actually skirts the perimeter of the campus. So the queuing to enter the classroom area is quite extensive, so that you're not backing up on Adams, creating a congestion from that standpoint. You can pull onto campus and queue from there. My only concern might be, Eric, that the location of the annex, is there an opportunity that once you've dropped off at the annex to immediately turn left north of the parking lot to go to the egress line immediately, or do you have to stay in line all the way through to the rear building?
No, Jess, would you mind putting up the site plan again? So that area that you're talking about, Michael, that's immediately south of the annex is striped for parking. However, our practice has been to keep those spaces open during drop off and pickup.
Right. There's
so kind of between those.
Yeah, six parking spaces look like.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
You may want to give some consideration to allowing those to pass through, so that students that have been dropped off can immediately turn left and egress out through the eastern driveway.
Yes, we have also found that does help get cars off campus faster and prevent any sort of backup in the entrance driveway. So that's been our practice, and we would continue to do that.
Have you given any thought to school busing at all?
I definitely have. It's a challenge. It's a big expense. And it's really, like, I was speaking with a colleague up in Van Nuys who's actually able to purchase a electric school bus with a grant. And she told me, like, don't do it. She's like, never do it. It's like so difficult to operate because there's so much compliance. But definitely something I'm interested in, because I'd like to get more cars off the road, but I haven't figured out yet how to do it.
Well, I will say, I think none of you were here last time for executive, but Carson Gore has the California Dance Institute program, and they've come to us. We'll have it on our agenda in April, for a bus transportation for one day to take the kids to the big annual performance at the Alex Theater and that. But it's just one day, and it's going to be more than
thousands of dollars,
more than $2,000, and that's an LAUSD gets to pick the bus companies. It's not even that they can't even get competitive bids, and they cannot ask, and that's for one day, cannot ask Supervisor Holly Mitchell for a bus, even though she gives them all the time. So
it is a challenge.
It's a challenge.
So may I ask a question, Eric? Just out of curiosity. There are buses. My daughter currently attends LACES, and they have 3 or 4 buses that they use for whatever. Can you help us understand where's the cutoff in terms of enrollment and bus efficiency, or being able to afford a bus? Do you need 700 students? Go ahead.
Yeah, Laces has a very long tradition of having those buses. I know this because I used to pick up my niece from one of the buses because the bus would take her halfway home. And I would have to take the rest away
Yeah.
home.
So Laces is a LUSD magnet school.
Right.
Yes.
And the school district, you're absolutely correct. The school district does operate a very large number of buses. And in fact, they're mandated to provide that bus transportation to their magnet schools. That's part of the like court order for
Right.
for racial integration, right? So
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 that's
as
not meant to happen.
as a charter school, you don't have the same rules?
yeah, well, and I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But the school district does not make those buses available to charter schools.
No.
I see. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
So-
Thank you. That
So
answers
the
my
options for charter schools are either, well, really there's three, and we've been able to take advantage of two of them. So one is, the charter school purchases the bus, like I mentioned, but again, it's very difficult. There's so much compliance and regulations around operating a bus. The second is to rent buses from a private operator, which we do, like
For field
for
trip.
field trips and things like
Sure.
that, out $1,000 a bus. And then the third is to support students in using public transportation. And so we've been a part of the Metro Go Pass program since
Sure.
it was a pilot program, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, in which we provide a free Metro Pass to every single enrolled student, so that they get unlimited free rides on the Metro. And so many students do take advantage of that. And there's a bus stop right there on the corner. So that's what we've encouraged students to do.
So lastly, I've built 3 LAUSD elementary schools and a middle school in a past life. It sounds like the only thing you have in common as a charter school with the LAUSD public schools is you get paid for butts in the seats, and that's all. Is that correct? As a
Yeah,
charter
so
school?
correct. Charter schools are funded in a very, very similar way to school districts, yes, on the basis of student attendance. And we are authorized by the school district, and so in many ways we're accountable to the school district. But other than that, it's a completely separate system, right? Our schools are operated by a 501c3 nonprofit and not by the school district. So we have a separate board of directors. And the kind of staffing we hire, all of our staff are employees, or we must sign, enter into contracts with independent contractors.
I see. Thank you.
So this is Laura speaking. I was very recently copied on an email where there's some folks in Jefferson Park discussing creating a safe walk to school on the alley that's running east to west, just north of 27th, and they're pinpointing your school as well as Prescott. Is there a back door to your school?
There's,
I don't know if
there's currently not a door. No. So Colleen and Caesar and I talked about that when they came to visit the school. So there is a small yard behind the building, which is shown on this plot plan. It's because we're kind of on the hill, there's a retaining wall at the back of that yard. And on the west side of the building, there's like a drainage, basically like a, I don't know what you call it, like a ditch, basically.
Yeah, I understand.
And
When I was a kid to just access the campus, but I guess they wouldn't allow that these days. Because I used to walk through, I went to Carpenter Avenue way back when, and we used to walk up the gully that runs parallel to Laurel Canyon and walk in the gully. And then there was this little access point where you kind of climbed up and into the school campus.
Right. So right now,
totally improper. And,
right now it's all fenced off, as for safety, and it's actually a condition about keeping the campus secure. And so it's all fenced off right now. But we were looking at that area with Caesar and Colleen because I think they raise a really valid point that for anybody who lives down on 27th Street, they have to walk quite a long ways around.
And on an unsafe street.
Yeah, Arlington's not great, or you have to go all the way to 7th Avenue.
So it's this, I'm pointing. I don't know if Jess, if you can see with your pointer, because I'm sure you can see, there's just this little,
That's way down south.
yeah, it's down, it's this
Yeah, it's a
little.
little further south and to the left, you see there's like an alley. Nope, the other way.
The other way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
right
alley that comes up from 27th Street and then turns west and runs behind the apartment building that's adjacent to the school. So I think immediately behind the school is private property. But there may be some way to figure out access. I think, like I mentioned to them, I obviously have, like Donna, concerns about supervision. Like, how do we make sure make sure we keep that area space safe, because it's kind of hidden by the building. But yeah, definitely open to exploring, because I think it would be a benefit to the community to, number one, beautify that alley. And the more that it's in use, the safer it is for everybody. So
right.
Definitely.
There are actually 2 staircases on Fame's property next door on both the east and west sides of the campus, which isn't to say that this is a very dreamy idea. Not an
No,
easy,
I'm just visualizing my grammar school days, but
yeah. I think, it was, we talked about when
yes,
Caesar and Kristen and I were visiting the site. I think we all agreed that, don't we all love a secret passageway? Don't we all, don't we all have a Narnia fantasy? But in this case, yeah, that walking on Arlington is dangerous. So it's not an easy idea, it's a dreamy idea. But I appreciate, folks talking about it as if it could be something that maybe we could achieve at some point, because safe routes to school are important, and having spots and having excuses, I guess, having like a good reason to green and beautify alleys and activate them, I think is also could be beneficial. So I appreciate everybody talking about it as if it, maybe in some fantasy world we could make it a real thing.
Right. Well, and then speaking of, so I didn't realize all 3 of you took the tour. Nice. It is pretty obvious when we look at this map that Prescott's got a lot more green on it than your schools. And it would be nice if you had more green, but that's a side note. That's got nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we
talked about that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, we did, we did plant the trees in the parking lot and they're continuing to grow. So, getting a little more green. And I think we're working with our garden club on that backyard to beautify it as well.
Okay.
And we've, tried to do our very best with the front yard. At least it's mostly grass, but
Can we just visualize 2 big trees in the front yard, but then we wouldn't be able to see the building. Anyway, so back to the timing on this.
Yes.
I hesitate to take the decision making to the board way too early, just in case unexpectedly the zoning administrator says, but what about this? What about that? So I mean, we can do a vote now, but
I had a question for
sure,
Donna, actually, and I was wondering, Donna, has this been presented to your folks at the West Adams Avenues meeting? Do folks who attend your meeting on the regular, are they aware?
No, it has not been presented. Last time it was just a thought in their mind. A couple of the neighbors that live on 25th Street near the 6 Feet Under house that had issues before, I did bring it up to them, but at that point it was just something that was
remote,
not
maybe
for a
more
definite
remote.
sure, so we didn't go any further than that.
Right, and so, and then Colleen, because I work on 4th Avenue, I experience or don't experience, depending on the day or the week, like today, nobody from the school was ever, is it a holiday? No. So I was surprised that I saw no cars waiting to pick up any kids, and I saw no kids walking in groups down 4th Avenue. But some days you see both, and but you only see them after school for a very short period of time. I mean, the kids walking down the street are walking home, presumably.
Right.
Or
To the
walking,
bus, yeah.
or walking Washington Boulevard, I mean, they're walking somewhere.
Mhm.
But, so I don't know about Third Avenue, but, you know, Fourth Avenue is the street with the, stoplight on Adams, so, you know, you know, it doesn't seem to be much of a problem right now,
That's good.
and that's good, yeah.
Norma
I guess my-
Davis had a problem a while back.
Right.
And
Right.
Right, I remember
I
her
haven't
mentioning-
asked her
You know,
recently.
the biggest problem is the corner of Adams and Arlington. That's the
Yeah.
biggest problem, and the congestion that goes on at that point.
Yeah.
Traffic is a
Kids
mess.
crossing
and-
the street in multiple
Yeah,
directions.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's,
that's just gonna be what it is.
yeah.
I mean,
Well-
Michael, I think our concerns had been over the years, you know, double parking, kids starting out in traffic, parents picking up their kids by being on the, you know, north side westbound of Adams,
Right.
and kids darting across the street
Mhm.
from behind cars and like, oh my God, they're gonna get hit.
That's
No,
a
and so
problem.
that seems to have been long since mitigated. But we were having some issues, and I can, when ICE was coming strong
Mm.
to LA, the parents were picking up the kids in a way that they weren't usually picking up kids, let's just say it that way. And that's what seems to have mitigated at the moment. And I can't answer over by 25th Street, I don't know.
Sure.
That it would be a Norma thing. I don't think it's a bad idea for you guys to go to the avenues, but then again, Donna, do you have room on an agenda before you go away for the summer?
Yeah. Definitely
No, we
open
don't
to it.
have, we
Yeah,
only have 2 meetings and then graduation celebrations. So June
Which
is
is-
out.
geez, a barbecue here.
Yes.
Donna, what about, would there be any space at Coffee with a Cop for the STEM folks to have a table or something?
They could have a table, that's for sure, if they so chose and could hand out materials, because
Sure.
we're inviting you know, a lot of resource opportunities as well as organizations. So we
That's the
can,
April 18th date.
April 18th, but it would be good, so in other words, not just handing out information about, hey, your kid can come to my school,
But
but
information about the
also
project.
information about the project.
Okay. Okay, who should I connect with about
Donna.
that? With you, Donna? Okay.
yeah.
Is that right, Donna?
Uh-huh.
So.
And
You'll-
would there be any opportunity, like, do you have a public comment at your meeting, Donna? Like, I understand that the you know, the agenda is really packed and that there wouldn't be time for a full presentation, but at least for folks to kind of know that this is happening, and if they wanted more information, where they could go.
We might be able to fit it into May, so it's something I will definitely look into.
Okay,
But
yeah,
not
let us
a
know.
full
I think-
presentation like this, no.
Yeah, that would be too much time, sure.
Okay.
We're pushing Donna, it's really not nice of us.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
organized.
I just, you know, I just always want to make sure that the most,
Yes,
you know, the neighbors that are the most immediately affected are aware, because unless and
And
until there's a
Colleen, I
hearing
definitely
notice.
appreciate it. It's just the people that need to be aware often don't pay any attention until something
Yeah.
starts happening.
Yeah.
And
well, what I was also going to say, Colleen, is Donna's so darn organized that she'll be contacting people in July as she plans all of next year's programs.
Yes.
See,
Yeah.
so I knew that I was doing the
oh yeah,
Negro Motorist Green Book as of July of 2025, because she was scheduling out her meetings. So,
I
and
don't. That was very sweet, Laura, but I do attempt to be a little bit organized because I'm counting on someone outside of me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
definitely, maybe Michael can do a little presentation in May.
Michael Kimbrough,
Michael Kimber,
He's the only one I'm looking at.
what kind of presentation would you be looking at?
Just nominated.
Well, because he's supposed to present for UNNC.
Got it.
And she's kindly not saying maybe Laura could. Thank you.
No, I mean, we're talking about probably 15 or 20 minutes, just giving
Yeah.
people an opportunity, and then at Coffee with a Cop, and then opportunity to actually have a table at our music festival. So there are many chances.
Oh, yeah, over Liberty Weekend.
This is like, yeah, okay, 100%.
So there's a lot, yes, there's a lot
Yeah,
that
lots of
can be going
opportunities.
on, yeah. Okay,
Hey, one last
so,
question. One last question, Laura. Out of
Sure.
curiosity, Eric, how long is your waiting list right now?
Yeah, so for the current school year, there's about 125 students on that waiting list.
Wow.
We've already received over 380 applications for next fall for about 150 seats.
Wow.
So that's just at the high school.
well, you know, to kind of put this all in perspective, a historic cultural monument nomination that a colleague and I have been working on for a while is about the Grant Venerable, who was the first African American to graduate from Caltech back in 1932, 31, 32. But a big statistic, which is really a teeny statistic, from the time that Harvard was founded till after World War II, there were just about 12 African Americans in America who graduated from the 25 top ranked universities
Right.
in the sciences or engineering. Only about a dozen in that whole 300 some years.
Right.
And so, you know, this is important.
Why makes it?
100%, yeah. I mean, on the other side of that, I think the Los Angeles area has a long historical tradition of providing opportunities for, or at least some, more than other.
Not 1920s, 100 years ago, so much.
But I think what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
there are, within the aerospace industry, right, that many of those industries, like where Black engineers were able to find jobs at times when they weren't in other places in the country. And so there's that history that we have in the neighborhood as well. But I didn't know about that. Grant Venerable is the
Grant D. Venerable.
okay. I'm gonna look him up. Thanks.
Senior. And then his son, Grant B. D. Venerable Jr. was one of the first PhD mathematicians out of New Chicago,
Okay,
who was Black. So
great. Well, that may be a good. We have in our high school in the hallways we have we have portraits of folks, people of color in the sciences, in the fields, and every once in a while we like to change it out. So
because we're in contact with the kids, venerable kids. So
oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
amazing. They would have portraits.
Yeah, that would be great. And and even maybe there's opportunities like each, we have a few events throughout the year in which we try to get STEM professionals, particularly people of color, to come in and speak to students.
Well, they're not young.
Sure. But yeah, anytime, for anybody who's here, we like in June every year we have a competition that's for all grade levels. And so we're always looking for judges. And so each grade level does a different kind of project, compete amongst themselves, and then we kind of bring them together and we are always inviting judges for that. And then we have a few other events throughout the year which we try to bring in speakers. So if if you're a STEM professional or know somebody, we'd love to talk with you about it.
Okay.
And you said that he went to Caltech.
Well, yes, he
Caltech.
graduated from Caltech.
Okay.
And they have named a building after him.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should really look into it. We might even be able to name one of our STEM labs after him. Just want to find out some more.
Yeah, we're trying very desperately to get the city planning department to let our.
Does he have a connection to this neighborhood?
Yes, his home.
His home is here? Okay.
29th of Budlaw.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
definite.
Type for that.
Connection, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll send you multiple versions of the nomination because we're on version number 5. Because we're having a little trouble. We're having some difficulty with the city.
What?
I know.
I'm shocked.
So am I. So are we all. Anyway, okay. So I'm thinking, what do you guys think? Not voting yet? Or voting but putting it on hold and not taking it to the governing board?
I would prefer to wait for there to be more opportunities for the community
For
to
people to know
filter
more.
through. Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Especially the local community.
Yeah, I think we have plenty of time.
Yeah, I think so too.
Definitely open to.
Well, I was never gonna put it on the April agenda for the governing board because we have so much else.
Oh,
to do
right.
Anyway. Okay.
So we'll stay in touch, and you know what I'll do is I'll connect with Jane, our attorney, and see, you know, if
Yeah.
she's got any updates for the city.
Don, I gave her email.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we'll definitely connect on about the event on the 18th, and if you'd like us to come to the Avenues meeting, definitely to that as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a couple of quick other things, because it's already almost 8:20. So, you know, we talked a long time last meeting about the open space element preliminary draft updates. And essentially, the team presented at the monthly Plan Check NC meeting, which is the coalition of planning committee chairs or land use chairs from around the city for various neighborhood councils. And essentially what became clear, because reading the whole draft, again, open space element, which is a piece of the general plan, is, you know, as clear as mud as to where they were going with it. But essentially, the questions were quite pointed because they're not addressing everything we might consider to be open space. They're not addressing necessarily medians or parkways, for example. They're addressing more like parks and wilderness and to some extent biodiversity. So there was a lot of discussion about they should open their minds up a little bit and consider other aspects of open space and try and define it better in the plan. So we'll see. Sun.
Just wanted to say that the link in your agenda doesn't work for that.
Really?
Try to
Okay.
look into that. I was like,
Yes,
what is
I
it?
tried it too. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okie dokie. I will, whenever I send out another e-blast, I will see if I can, before that, have a corrected link. Because this is the link, because I checked it again today. I didn't check to see if it worked, but I checked it again on their materials. So, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, right, because the comment period is definitely ending at the end of the month. So that will be not a standalone email, but when I do this, we're having, you know, this event and that event and this event, I will include that in it's not exactly an event, but it has a deadline. And then on the item 5, which is similar to item 4, updates. Speaking of links, Steve, did you receive a link to make public comments on objective design standards? Do they have that now?
I sent it to you.
I know, I mean, I didn't click on it, but is it meant for the public or is it only
Yes,
meant?
yes, it's meant for further distribution, which is why
Okay.
I'm sending it out.
Okay, so,
So
there were.
The link doesn't directly include a deadline, but I was told last night by our planner at the HPOZ board meeting for Jefferson Park that it would be good to get any comments in by April 1st.
Okay, so similar deadline to the other. All right, so I will send both of those out to everybody.
Apparently, so just one more update on that. There's a public workshop, the first public workshop scheduled for objective design standards on April 13th. And they plan to present what the city wants to do regarding the standards at that meeting.
Oh, good. So they're just not waiting around for public comments at all.
Well, the
He
public,
said a little bit snarkily.
yeah. So
So
there,
the first public workshop is not where the public gets its chance to weigh in because they will have already drafted it.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, the total flaw in this is that planning has never come forward with a plan for public to provide feedback on.
Exactly.
And so this is something I complained about last night at the HPOZ board meeting with the planner there, who of course has no knowledge or authority of anything. But
Right.
essentially yeah, it's a done deal, whatever it is they're doing.
Okay. Yay, but I will send out I'm gonna do some sort of, hey, everybody, here's community news, e-blast with a lot of stuff in it, and both of these things will be in that.
Did you ever
Okay.
hear from planning regarding the UNNC letter?
No, and
Okay.
not only that, I confronted in a maybe not a very nice way, them in face to face at the neighborhood conference and showed them the email that was sent. Here's my tablet. Oh, it does look like you wrote us. Well, we'll have to talk to Ken about that. It's like, what do? You can't just hit reply and say, thank you, received.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no. Okay, and then 1422 South St. Andrews. So you guys will remember that we had a couple of meetings when they were proposing a co-living project and a subdivision of one lot into two at the corner of 15th and St. Andrews. That project's been withdrawn. It was approved, so I don't know if it's officially withdrawn. It was approved, but he's put in a new application to do a 100% affordable housing development with 69 units in the R2 zone. And I just don't understand what does zoning mean nothing anywhere anymore? I don't know. But more importantly, you all will my current rant, you'll remember that the other issue here was that he bought a house, big old 1908, 1910, 3-story mansion-y house that had 18 light housekeeping units per the MLS, when it was for sale. And Lyndon Shaw said, oh, I don't know what happened to the tenants. They weren't there by the time I closed escrow. Nice. And then the homeless people moved in and burned the place down. And then they're still living there. I mean, it's just a nightmare for the neighborhood. And about 10 days ago, there was, on the 9th of March. So about 10 days ago, I saw something in next door. Somebody in Hollywood was complaining that the construction was about to begin on a big housing project at 1744 North Wilton Place, so not in our neighborhood, and that the developer, Lyndon Shaw, had bought a perfectly fine house, evicted the tenants, and then homeless people moved in and burned it down and set fires and were continuing to be horrible in the neighborhood. So it's like, oh my God, same guy, a little pattern here, and just absolutely no repercussions. So that's why I was mentioning at the beginning, before we started the meeting, that I'm starting to try and find other examples, and there unfortunately are other examples of basically big craftsman and Victorian homes being burned down with no repercussion to the developers, and clearing the lots and de facto clearing the lots in order to allow the developments to happen. So there was one in the 1200 block of South Menlo. There was a burn down last week on St. Andrew's Place, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm starting to try and get, compare notes with some other people.
So there was discussion last night at the Jefferson Park HPOZ meeting about the building that burned down on Jefferson, just east of the Burger Palace. And there was a comment that was also an intentional fire.
Now, is this the one that's now? No, this is not the same one that Herb Powell's.
It's going to be the offices for real estate or architecture.
Oh, really? It is the same one.
Yeah.
But they didn't burn it down. They did not own that.
No, it was the people who
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, who had gotten a project approved and then it burned down. It seems to be
Convenient, right.
slightly different, but I don't know.
Where is that? Jefferson?
Jefferson and Fifth, yeah.
Okay.
No, Jefferson between Cimarron and Arlington on the north
Oh.
side of the street.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, anyway, it's not good. And then there's another one where the guy at least wanted a demolition permit and nothing has happened on 23rd, about 50 feet east of Vermont, so 1480 West 23rd Street. And it's right behind it, the commercial, the zone commercial. And building and safety, it burned in December. It's just collapsing. Building and safety has not even cited it. There's nothing, just nothing. Just a pending application for demolition that's not cleared because it's a contributing structure in the University Park HPOC. So I don't know what the guy wants to do with it. I'm guessing in this case, a parking lot for the business. But, these are just anecdotal. So I'm trying to see if there's a way to create a bigger picture.
Good idea.
Okay. Anybody else? These are my current things. Son.
Yeah, I mean, when you're bringing that up, I live next door to a possible problem that could be solved for the owners by a fire, and that makes me worried now that you mention it.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm like, okay, should I go to the fire department to ask them what I should do as a
Well-
property owner to protect myself, or?
Yeah, I would say trim all vines and plants away from your house.
Oh, gosh, okay.
I mean,
Would definitely go to the fire department and ask.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to scare you, but they,
No, I've known homeowners, like
Yeah.
10 years ago, who had surprise Christmas fires that was very good for them. But,
Right.
it was very controlled, except I didn't live next to them.
okay, I have lived here for 40 some years, and I will say on July 4th, 1983, 3 big mansions on the corner of Western and Venice burned down, which is now a shopping center. But they were owned by the Manny Mo and whoever, the people on food for less.
Oh,
And they wanted to build a shopping center, and not coincidentally, all 3 were hit by fireworks at the same time, maybe. But in any case, it's just become a problem. Just again, about a month ago, 1504 South Wilton Place burned down and a fireman was injured.
Mm.
And I already had brought that up to the council office. This is just a really sad, really sad story waiting to happen. And that's what happened when 509 St. Andrews burned. It caught 523. And so that one's burned to the ground as well. And family is homeless. And it's scary. So,
Great.
yeah. Okay. And on that wonderful note, I'm thinking we need to cancel.
I'm sorry, are we in previous cases? I'm sorry, this is Colleen.
Yes, we are.
I just wanted to ask, this is my meeting, I guess, to put people on the spot. If Steve wouldn't mind doing a quick review for our guests, our STEM guests. They have some students who are interested in the oil field issues. And Steve, I wondered if you would just be able to do a really quick summary of what we know and kind of the what has gone on with our local oil field and their kind of planning and zoning issues.
Steve
and
has a look.
I'm sorry, Steve. I should have warned you before this meeting that I was going to put you on the spot.
You're talking about the Murphy site?
Yes, it's just
Yes.
that our guests, their students, they have some students who have expressed interest in it and have done some research on it. And so I just thought it's kind of a hands across America sort of situation where the students are interested and folks on this committee are knowledgeable. And so I just thought it might be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel Murphy was one of the founders of Union Oil and had a mansion on Adams. And it has since been turned into an oil field in the late 50s. Before that, the city of Los Angeles, pretty much anyone who had any oil under their house had an oil well. And it was decided a long time ago that that probably wasn't a very good idea. So they consolidated these multiple oil sites into oil districts. And this site on Adams became part of an oil district. So there's a sizable oil works there. It was connected to the 4th Avenue oil site at 4th and Washington. And at the site that, I'm sorry, I'm blanking, Laura.
Budlong and Jefferson.
Yeah, Budlong site in Jefferson. Those two were satellite sites that fed the Murphy site at Adams and Gramercy, I think it is. And those sites have since been closed down. There's now a housing facility for very low income people at 4th and Washington. And I believe that, I don't know what's being planned for Budlong. Murphy is still operational. It's had several owners in the last 20 years since I've been involved in it. There was a serious issue. There was an issue regarding what they could do. When you drill for oil, you get really awful brackish water, you get gas, and if you're lucky, you get oil. So at Murphy, they get a lot of awful water, they get a lot of gas, and they get oil. The problem was they used to be able to sell the gas to Southern California Gas, and then that changed. And so they needed to be able to dispose of the gas. And I guess there were two options. One was to try to put the gas back into the ground, and the other was to burn it. And so the company that was then running the site is actually owned by the Archdiocese, the Catholic Archdiocese, which owns several oil sites within the city, and they lease it to vendors. So at the time, the vendor wanted to install a burner that would burn 1 million cubic feet of gas per day. And they wanted to put the burner in the pseudo parkland that was just south of the site and adjacent to the housing that's there. And the community really rose up as a group and fought this tooth and nail with the support of the UNNC and then Council President Herb Wesson. And we were able to convince the company not to do it and got a zoning administrator decision to tell them not to do it. So that was the big political issue that came up. There have been multiple community complaints in the ensuing years about gases being released, about heavy trucks dealing with toxic materials, alleged toxic materials, etc. I'd be happy to talk to the students about it. If they want more information, I could be much better prepared and not so inarticulate. So, but I was one of the people that was involved in that at the time.
So I did note that city council or somebody did a motion maybe for a nuisance abatement on the site in February. I mean, this is very recent, so I don't know what that's going on. But I also just purchased, it arrived today, the book called Oil and Ice, and it's a biography of Daniel Murphy, written by a
local resident.
Yeah, Joe Ryan.
Oh.
And won a book award. And,
a good book.
I don't know. It just arrived today.
It is a good book. I have it and I read it.
Okay.
I read it because Steve told me about it. I have some interest in I wanted to bring this up too because I don't know how we would do it, but I think it would be great to try to push for a meeting with the Archdiocese on this topic.
Yeah, because they really want. I know we're being recorded. I don't believe they're looking to give up sources of revenue
The previous Pope had an encyclical on this topic, and there's actually a fair amount of environmental topic, and there's actually
Oh, that's interesting.
an article in the I think it was the New Yorker about a church member who has done a lot of work on mapping sites such as the Murphy oil field. Yeah, so I tilt at windmills. Look, I'm trying to get a rear entrance to 2 schools, and beautify an alley. So
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Colleen, because I think it came up because one of our students is involved with the group at USC, and so she wrote an article, and I sent it to Colleen, so she read it, but kind of about the, what are the health effects of this being in our neighborhood, and we're just walking past it every day. So yeah, I think if it's an issue that the community is interested in, I think we'd love to, collaborate with you on.
Well, I'm going to say, see, this is another example of local history that is of interest to students. Meaning, in other words, we had 2 comments tonight, Grant Venerable.
Right. Reason
I bought the book is because going back to 3911 West Adams, which is the house that Heather Hutchins nominated as potential historic cultural monument. The reason it was nominated is because of its association with the Mary Clay Kindergarten, which was for African American kids. Okay. But it was erected by a guy named Irwin Herron, Herron. And he and his father, Rufus, were essentially wildcatters in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when that was the big oil fields in the 1870s and 1880s. And then they came out here to do oil again, and they founded what became the Los Angeles Stock Exchange, but the only stocks the original exchange was exchanging were oil stocks. I mean, these are penny stocks, this is in the 1890s. And but he was an officer of the Los Angeles Stock Exchange and still an investor in oil when he built the house, on Adams in the 20s. So, during the heyday of what? Teapot Dome. So, all of these stories you sort of read about in the history books, they're connected to people who live here. And that's sort of an interesting way to teach history. I think for kids, if it's localized, if it's real people, I think they can put their arms around it a lot better. It's a different approach to teaching. I don't know.
No, I think that's a good idea. But again, I'm happy to talk to folks about the recent history. I think there's some debate about the health effects.
Right.
So it'd be smart of the students to really dig into both sides of that issue. I'm sure the oil company, whose representative has been at this meeting many times, would also be very happy to talk to the students.
Yeah, because I mean, there are multiple sites.
Right.
Yeah.
So there have been really poorly run oil fields in the city of LA. Right. The most recent one was near USC, where our Senator Barbara Boxer came to investigate the problems at the site and actually got physically sick within a half hour of being on the site.
Yeah, right.
That kind of site does occur. I have to say that
also owned by the Archdiocese, I might add.
Yes. I have to say that the Murphy site has been run by a different operator in the 20 years I've been here, and the operation has not been like the one near USC.
Got it.
There are different. Okay. I'm not trying to promote, urban oil drilling or anything. I'm just trying to be honest about the situation. There are different things going on all over the city.
Sure.
And there have been movements afoot at city council to stop all oil drilling within the city.
Right.
To phase that out. And the oil companies have sued once and won. And so the city has promoted new regulations that they hope will avoid the traps that they fell in the last lawsuit. And I think the oil companies will likely sue again.
Yep.
All right. Anything else under old business, ENS,
Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you.
And thank you, Steve, for sharing that with us, even though you weren't prepared.
Okay, anyway, I am considering, but I think the answer should be yes, that we not have a meeting on April 1st. I am not observant, but it's the first night of Passover. And I kind of feel that one should be holding meetings on the Passover. Are we in agreement?
Sure. There's
Okay.
nothing important pending for that meeting?
No, I mean, the main reason I'm reluctant to do that is that also May 6th, first Wednesday of May, I'm likely to be, and I hope some of you will be too, at the California Preservation Foundation Conference in Riverside. That's the opening reception. So I'm not sure I'm gonna be all the way out in Riverside, but I will have figured it out. So I don't think this is a problem for April 1st because I don't have anything.
Great.
Okay,
I gotta go.
all right.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna, what am I gonna do? Turn off the